Hey everyone, welcome back to another explainer. Today, we're jumping straight into a story that I absolutely love. It's called The Path That Wouldn't Disappear. Now, on the surface, this is a fascinating deep dive into a young man named Kabir. But honestly, at its core, it's really an exploration of a universal struggle that you and I face every single day. I'm talking about the incredibly difficult task of breaking bad habits. If you've ever tried to change a routine and felt like you were just fighting an unwinnable battle against yourself, stick around because this explainer is going to completely shift your perspective on how change actually happens.
Just think about it for a second. Why is it so hard to stop a bad habit? Seriously, we always start out with the best intentions, right? We know exactly what we want to achieve. Yet somehow, we consistently find ourselves sliding right back into the exact same behaviors we swore we'd stop. It's incredibly frustrating. Well, to understand the mechanics of why this happens, and more importantly, how to actually fix it, we're going to follow Kabir's journey, because his experience, it maps perfectly onto our own daily psychological battles.
Section 1. The Cycle of Frustration.
Okay, let's dive into this. Our story begins in a quiet little village located right at the foot of a mountain, with our protagonist, Kabir. Now, Kabir was a young man who was pretty well known around town for one specific, unfortunate trait: starting things that he never ever finished. He had all these big dreams and aspirations, but his follow-through was literally non-existent. He was totally stuck in a loop. I mean, look at the massive gap between his genuine intentions and his actual reality. Every single night, he made a firm promise to himself. He intended to wake up early, study hard, and build the life he truly desired. That was the dream. But his reality? Well, every morning, without even meaning to, he found himself trapped in his default routines. You know the drill: scrolling, delaying, just drifting aimlessly through the day. He desperately wanted to change, and yet somehow the old habits always won out.
This intense, recurring frustration finally pushed Kabir to look for some outside help. He started hearing these whispers about an old monk who lived entirely alone near the mountain's peak. And this monk was legendary. People said he understood the human mind better than anyone else in the entire land. So, hoping against hope for some real, actionable answers, Kabir set off. He climbed this long, arduous trail all the way up the mountain to find the master, just absolutely desperate for a way to break free from his own default behaviors.
Section 2. The Impossible Task.
After a really grueling climb, Kabir finally finds the monk, who's just sitting perfectly still in a small garden, eyes closed. Kabir bows respectfully and he practically begs for help. He says, "Master, I want to change, but no matter how hard I try, I always return to the same habits. Please, teach me how to break free." The monk simply opens his eyes, gives his faint little smile, and says, "Very well, follow me." He then leads Kabir away from the garden and into a quiet courtyard. And in this courtyard, there's a very prominent feature running right across the ground, a deep, worn path. It's this deep groove in the earth, carved completely smooth by years and years of footsteps walking the exact same line over and over again. And this brilliantly illustrates what a habit actually is. It's a perfect, physical, tangible metaphor for our deeply ingrained routines. The more you walk it, the deeper the groove gets, until it becomes your brain's absolute path of least resistance.
So the monk hands Kabir a small wooden tool and gives him a single, simple task: erase the path. To smooth out the earth until absolutely no trace of the groove remains. Seems straightforward enough, right? First, Kabir kneels down and scrapes at the ground. He pushes the soil back into the deep groove, flattening it out with his hands. Looks good. But then, and here's the kicker, the very moment he steps back to check his work, his own feet, without a single conscious thought, fall straight back into that exact same worn line. He ruins his work instantly. Okay, so he tries again. He smooths it out, steps back, and again, his feet betray him. Hours pass like this. Over and over, he fixes it, and over, he accidentally steps right back into the groove. It's maddening. The path remained as stubborn as ever.
Section 3. The Monk's Lesson.
After hours of this repetitive, agonizing failure, Kabir hits his breaking point. He throws down the wooden tool in total defeat. He looks at the monk and declares the task absolutely impossible. The second he fixes the dirt, he just walks right back into it. And the key detail here is what Kabir says next. He admits that he steps into the groove without even choosing to. His feet just naturally seek out that familiar, comfortable depression in the earth. The monk nods slowly. He tells Kabir that he finally understands his real problem.
See, Kabir has been trying to erase a path that his own feet were never even asked about. So the crucial point is this: a path this deep cannot be erased, it can only be replaced. Take a second and just let the profound weight of that sink in. You can't just forcefully delete a deeply ingrained habit. You can't just scrape dirt over it and pretend it never existed. Why? Because your mind, just like Kabir's feet, will automatically find its way back to that deep, familiar groove the very moment you stop paying attention.
Kabir is understandably a bit confused by this and asks, well, how do I actually replace it? The monk points to the edge of the courtyard and lays out a new set of instructions. First, choose a new line. Second, walk it, but not just once. Walk it every single day, right at the exact place where the old path used to pull you. Over time, you replace that old pull. You let the new path grow deeper. The absolute genius of this practical advice is that you aren't fighting the old habit at all. You're simply giving your feet, or in our case, your mind, somewhere else to go. You're intentionally building a new default.
Section 4. Walking the new path. Kabir truly takes this lesson to heart. He completely stops trying to scrape away the old groove. He ditches the wooden tool entirely. Instead, he applies this brand new strategy. Each morning, the very moment his feet want to naturally fall into that familiar deep line, he pauses. He intentionally guides his feet just a few steps to the side onto a brand new path. And he walks this new line with his full attention, taking it one small deliberate step at a time. Let's move on and see how this builds, because this is definitely not an overnight fix. At first, on day one, it feels totally unnatural. Kabir's feet still desperately want to pull toward the old groove. The urge is there, and it is incredibly strong. But he keeps walking the new line. He doesn't force it, he doesn't rush it, he just patiently redirects himself. Fast forward to weeks later. Without even realizing exactly when the shift occurred, Kabir suddenly notices something amazing. His feet no longer searched for the old path at all. By patiently walking the new line every single day, the new path had officially become the natural way.
Section 5. The final takeaway. So Kabir eventually heads back down the mountain to his village, but he is a completely changed man. And the beautiful thing is, it wasn't because he aggressively fought his old habits into submission. It wasn't through brute force willpower or constantly criticizing himself for messing up. He succeeded simply because he gave his mind a new path to walk. He was patient. He took it one single day at a time, allowing the new routine to organically carve its own deep groove until the old one simply ceased to matter. Now, what's really interesting about this concept is the core truth Kabir carried with him for the rest of his life. You do not destroy an old habit by erasing it, you outgrow it. That right there is the ultimate moral of this entire explainer. You outgrow a bad habit by walking a new path so many times that it becomes the absolute only path your feet remember. You don't focus your energy on the dirt in the old groove, you focus your energy on stepping to the side and treading a new path.
So, I want to leave you with this final, provocative question. What new path will you walk today? The next time you find yourself slipping into a routine you desperately want to break, whether it's scrolling endlessly on your phone, putting off your work, or just drifting away from your goals, don't waste your energy scraping at the old dirt. Stop fighting the old path. Just take one deliberate step to the side. Choose a new line and walk it with your full attention. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you in the next one.